everybody, hope you're hungry today because we're going to be playing with this guy. So this is a rabbit and it's about 1.2 kilos, which is roughly probably about 3 pounds. When my boys were a little bit younger, my wife used to love getting rabbit because it is a very lean meat. There's hardly any fat on it. You'll see when I open it up here, you can see all that. That's fat that can be ripped out, but in the actual meat structure, it's very lean. So it was, as far as she was concerned, it was very healthy for the boys. They weren't getting a lot of fat out of it. She could grind it up and she could make like a little kind of baby food out of it. Since they've gotten a bit older, it seems to me that I'm the only one that enjoys eating it now. But every once in a while I like to go down to the store, I like to buy one. And there are a couple of different things that you can do with it. So today we're going to look at what those things are. I'm going to break it down and I'm going to work on doing a rabbit prosciutto. And also you can see there's a liver in there, and that is absolutely delicious on its own. And we'll do some various cuts and we'll see where we go. So let's get started. So you can see we got a rabbit here. We're going to open it up like this. We're going to get the chest cavity exposed. We pull out this liver, take out all this extra fat here. So as well, you'll see the muscles connecting. You see how the shoulder moves like this. Rabbits are one of those animals, there is no joint in the shoulder. All this is just held together by muscle. So basically I'm just going to scoop underneath that and take that clean off. There's no dejointing, if you want to call it that. Okay, so we'll get started first off by taking out this extra fat. Completely unnecessary, like I said. You just want to get in there. Make sure you don't damage the meat. Open this up. We'll pull out this liver as well. So the liver, if you can see, it's basically got a very thin membrane there, just holding it on. So very gently, just go in there, cut that out. Out comes your liver. And we'll put that in the tray there. And as I said, all this fat here, you just pull it out by hand. It's good to keep a little bit, but it's not one of the more tasty fats. Anyway, you use a little bit in cooking, but just get rid of it. Pull all that out. And down here, I think I've just missed a little tiny bit of that liver connecting to the chest cavity. Doesn't quite look like liver. Maybe it isn't. Leftovers of something else. So that's off of there. We can clean that up more in a bit. So, easy enough with the shoulders. Show you again. This is just held on by a muscle. And all we're going to do is go under that muscle and take that off. There's the forearm, the shoulder. Do it again. Clean off. Now you've got the neck up here, lots of little tiny bones, don't really need that. You get a bigger knife and just take that right out. Just clean through, and it's off. So now, you've got the legs at the back, you've got the saddle portion, which is right here, and you've got the front, the ribs, and a little bit of breast meat down there. So we'll take off the legs next. Same with a chicken. If you've ever deboned a chicken, or broken down a chicken, you just want to pop them back a bit like that, and loosen them out of the joint. And then you're going to take your boning knife and get as close to the spine as possible. And you can see that little seam running along there as well. you can just make out where the muscle connects to the spine. So that's all you want to do, is follow that line. You go right in there, and then you're going to find the bone. And it's off. Keep as close as you can, right to the edge there. Same thing again. There's actually a hip bone in here that you should get rid of. So turn that over. And there it is. So come in just at the joint. You can see that's the hip bone there. Made a bit of a mess of it. And then you're going to take your knife, take that out, that goes in your stock pot. So now again, you're left with the saddle, the breast, the shoulder, the ribs. So from here, I'm going to open this up gently. Just sort of go down to right about there, the last rib, where this breast meat connects. Slice up that side. You make your little indent, you get your bigger knife, same again. Straight through. So now you got your chest cavity. And again, this is where you get the majority of your meat on a rabbit. This is the saddle. So on the inside of the saddle, you're going to see tenderloins, fairly small, it is a rabbit. And then on the back, that's your strip loin, sirloin portion. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to run my knife along the bone and take off one of these strips. You're just going to find, with your fingers again, find the backbone, push your knife in, and stick right to the bone as best you can. There's a rib bone I missed. And that's off. So that is your, as I said, your strip, your sirloin, and I've left the breast still attached. I'll show you that again in a minute. I just left the edge of the hip bone right there. We're going to take that off. That'll go in the garbage. Play with that one in a minute. We'll come to this. So I saw, in doing my prep for this video, I watched a couple of other people work their magic. And I watched one guy, so I'm just trying to pull, I think that's the lungs in there, I'm just pulling out. Watch this one guy decide to make a crown rack of rabbits. And I thought that was awesome, because obviously, I mean, when you're talking about crown rack, you're usually talking about beef or pork, which is a much bigger animal, and you've got a lot more to work with. So to take something this small and make a crown rack was pretty impressive. So I'm just going to open this up again. Like that. Take my bigger knife. He actually did it with a needle and managed to stand it up, put the needle down the spinal column, and then just took the heel of the knife and separated it that way, which is probably easier. But the really impressive trick that I saw that he did, after splitting them in half, was he just took his knife like this, scraped the bones on the inside, and if I can get it first time, I'll be happy. Out popped the completely French bones. So, just sort of cut that off of there. He did it much smoother than me. He's obviously had a bit more practice. But as you can see there, those are some perfectly French bones. Just peel that back a bit more. Now, again, what he did, he just did that, tied it off with a bit of string, and yeah. Or you could leave it the other way. You could roll this in some breadcrumbs, you could fry it off. Or in addition to that, you could even take your knife, go through each joint, and you could make yourself some little rabbit tomahawk steaks, which I thought was pretty fun. And then on top of that, if you get into, where's it going? Just above the rib cage, you cut that piece off, and you've got what looks like little rabbit spare ribs. So yeah, all kinds of things you can do playing around with that. Obviously I've got far too much time on my hands. But that I'll put to the side for a second. With the legs as well, you can break them down a bit further. You can take the thigh and the leg, take your knife in, and find the joint, which is right there. You can see it again, right there. Take your knife through. And there you go. So you've got thigh meat, and you could even make little rabbit popsicles. Again, you could dip that in panko, you could fry it, and then serve that as a little hors d'oeuvre. So the major point of the video today was to show you rabbit prosciutto. And I know a fair number of people have actually seen my duck prosciutto video. It's the only one that people seem to be watching, but I'm happy with that. So I figured if everybody wants to see that, let's see if it works with rabbit. And it's the same procedure as you would do with the duck. All you have to do is find your salt, first of all. There it is. I'm going to take this dish here, I'm going to put down a layer of salt. Make sure this is nicely wrapped. Like I said, leaving the breast meat on just to give it a little bit more, because obviously it's not very big. Tightly roll it, put it in like that. This other piece I'm probably going to use for dinner tonight, so I'm only going to do the one. And this is just basically demonstration purposes here. So again, the procedure is you want to completely cover this sucker in salt for about a day. And there it is. Cover it in salt for a day, just like that. Get your plastic wrap. Cover it and stick it in the fridge. And when it comes out of the fridge, after you've wrapped it in your cheesecloth with whatever herbs you like, you have this. This has been sitting in the fridge for a week. And this is exactly what I've just showed you. Piece of rabbit on my fingers. So I'll open this up now and show you what it looks like. Just get the string off. Just cut it. And because of the size, it's probably dried out a little more than it needed to in a week. But you can see there, as I said, this was some thyme, some sage, and some rosemary. And you can see it's pretty much dried out to a lump of meat. So what I'm going to do now is take a little bit of wine, give it a rinse. Just scrub off the herbs. And we have rabbit prosciutto, which, as I said, is quite hard, but see if I can get a nice there we go. Nice little wafer thin piece of rabbit. And I will tell you that that is good eating. I'm a big fan of cured meats. That's delicious. So I'm going to sit here now, I'm going to break down the rest of the rabbit, I'm going to make some dinner. Might even put a recipe up. But that's basically it for today's video. Let me know what you think. Did you enjoy that? Do you want to try and make your own rabbit prosciutto? Thanks for watching. See you next time. Just to give you a shot of the final yield out of the rabbit, this is what we ended up with, minus one of the strips, of course, because, as I said, I've done the prosciutto with that. So you can see we've got the thighs, two thighs, the lower leg, which is being made into a lollipop. As I said, you can coat them in panko and fry them. Delicious. We've got the front legs separate on their own. And we've got one crown rack of rabbit sitting here, all ready to go. The other one, as I said, I've taken it apart and I've made some bunny tomahawks, bunny hawks, whatever you want to call them. There's not much on them, but they are kind of delicious as well. And here I ended up separating the breast meat from the strip because there was a bit of silver skin that had to come off, so I've separated that. But that can be wrapped back with the strip and the tenderloin. I'm going to put those together, put them inside the breast meat and just wrap that up. And that will serve as a portion for somebody tonight. And this is the leftover meat from the shoulder. So I'm just going to take that. I just left it there so you could see what it looks like, but obviously I'm going to debone it, take that bit out. And then same again, you could actually roll that if you wanted to, put a little piece of string around it and call it a little rabbit shoulder roast. And then of course you've got the bones left over, that'll go into stock. This is all your scrap bit, little bits of fat. If you really wanted to, I don't know, grind up some bunny sausage, you could keep that. And then of course that's the liver there, and that's going in my belly in about 5 minutes. There you go, one rabbit.